1. Pant. He had to pant heavily after climbing the steep hill. Pant, to breathe quickly and loudly after exertion. Pant, breathing fast due to physical effort. 2. Own. She wanted to own a piece of land in the countryside. Own, to possess something. Own, to have something as one's own. 3. Instead. They decided to walk instead of taking the bus. Instead, as an alternative. Instead, in place of something. 4. Abuse. The park aimed to prevent any form of abuse to nature. Abuse, to use something improperly or harmfully. Abuse, misuse or mistreatment of something. 5. Never. They had never climbed such a high mountain before. Never, at no time. Never, not at any time. 6. Manufacturer. The manufacturer of the hiking gear was known for high-quality products. Manufacturer, a person or company that makes goods. Manufacturer, a company that produces items for sale. 7. Grant. The park received a grant to improve the trail system. Grant, a sum of money given for a specific purpose. Grant, financial aid given to support a project or cause. 8. Lucky. They were lucky to have clear weather on their hiking trip. Lucky, having good fortune. Lucky, fortunate or favored by chance. 9. Fear. She felt a sense of fear as they neared the edge of the cliff. Fear, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous. Fear, an emotional response to perceived danger. 10. Height. The height of the mountain was daunting but exhilarating. Height, the measurement of something from base to top. Height, the distance from the bottom to the top of something. 11. Mount. They began their climb up the mount early in the morning. Mount, a large natural elevation of the Earth's surface. Mount, a large hill or mountain. 12. Factor. Weather was a key factor in their successful climb. Factor, an element or cause that contributes to a result. Factor, an element that contributes to a result. 13. Involved. Everyone involved in the hike was eager to reach the summit. Involved, to be part of something. Involved, to participate in or be connected to something. 14. Liberal. The park's policies were quite liberal regarding visitor activities. Liberal, open to new behavior or opinions. Liberal, willing to allow or accept new ideas or changes. 15. Fade. The pain from the climb began to fade once they reached the top. Fade, to gradually become less visible or intense. Fade, to diminish or lessen gradually. 16. Faith. They had faith in their abilities to complete the hike. Faith, complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Faith, belief in the reliability or strength of something. 17. It was an unforgettable experience for everyone. It, referring to a thing previously mentioned or easily identified. It, used to refer to a specific thing or idea. 18. Historical. The park is known for its historical significance. Historical, relating to history or past events. Historical, pertaining to the past or historical events. 19. Mrs. Mrs. Johnson was the most experienced hiker in the group. Mrs., a title used before the surname of a married woman. Mrs., a form of address for a married woman. 20. High. The view from the high point was breathtaking. High, of great vertical extent. High, at a great height or elevation. 21. Flower. The flowers along the trail added a splash of color to the hike. Flower, the reproductive part of a plant. Flower, the part of a plant that blooms and often has a pleasant smell. 22. Partly. The weather was partly cloudy, but mostly clear. Partly, to some extent. Partly, to a degree or extent. 23. Friend. They enjoyed the hike with their closest friends. Friend, a person who is close to another person. Friend, someone who you know well and like. 24. Observation. Her observation about the trail conditions was helpful. Observation, the act of watching or noticing something. Observation, noticing or perceiving something. 25. Fair. It was a fair assessment of their hiking skills. Fair, just or impartial. Fair, treating all people equally without bias. 26. Meet. They were excited to meet new people on the hike. Meet, to encounter someone. Meet, to come into contact with someone. 27. Husband. Her husband joined her for the hike. Husband, a married man. Husband, a man who is married to someone. 28. Player. The player's skills were impressive on the field. Player, someone who participates in a sport or game. Player, a person engaged in a game or sport. 29. Explain. She took time to explain the route to the group. Explain, to make something clear or easy to understand. Explain, to clarify or make something easier to understand. 30. Ignore. They chose to ignore the small discomforts during the hike. Ignore, to deliberately pay no attention to something. Ignore, to deliberately not notice or acknowledge something. 31. Force. They used all their force to push through the tough terrain. Force, physical power or strength. Force, strength or power applied to achieve something. 32. Hero. Mrs. Johnson was the hero of their group. Hero, a person admired for their courage or noble qualities. Hero, a person who is admired for their brave actions. 33. Glove. She wore a glove to protect her hands while climbing. Glove, a covering for the hand. Glove, an article of clothing for the hand. 34. 4. They took 4 bottles of water for the hike. 4, the number after 3. 4, the quantity representing the number 4. 35. Guest. They welcomed a guest who was an expert on local trails. Guest, a person who is invited to visit or stay. Guest, someone who is invited or stays temporarily. 36. Element. The natural element of the park was well preserved. Element, a fundamental part or aspect of something. Element, a basic or essential part of something. 37. Natural. The beauty of the park was enhanced by its natural landscape. Natural, existing in or caused by nature, not made or caused by humankind. Natural, not artificial, occurring in nature. 38. Former. He is a former mountain guide who now leads educational tours. Former, having previously been something. Former, previously in a particular role or position. 39. Immediately. They immediately felt a sense of accomplishment upon reaching the top. Immediately, at once, without delay. Immediately, instantly or without any delay. 40. Fine. The weather was fine for their outdoor adventure. Fine, of high quality, satisfactory. Fine, good or satisfactory in quality or condition. 41. Pain. She felt pain in her muscles after the long climb. Pain, physical suffering or discomfort. Pain, discomfort or suffering from injury or exertion. 42. Grow. They watched the plants grow as they climbed higher. Grow, to increase in size or develop. Grow, to become larger or more developed. 43. Laboratory. The laboratory was researching new methods for plant growth. Laboratory, a place where scientific experiments are conducted. Laboratory, a facility for scientific experiments and research. 44. Nobody. Nobody else was on the trail that day. Nobody, no person. Nobody, no person at all. 45. Poetry. She read some poetry to her friends during their rest break. Poetry, literary work expressing feelings and ideas in a rhythmic style. Poetry, writing that expresses ideas and feelings in a rhythmic manner. 46. Nearby. They stopped at a nearby cafe after the hike. Nearby, close to a particular place. Nearby, located close to or not far from a place. 47. Mistake. Climbing without enough water was a mistake. Mistake, an error or blunder. Mistake, an incorrect action or decision. 48. Network. The trail network was well marked and easy to follow. Network, a system of interconnected things or people. Network, a system of connected paths or people. 49. Left. They left the park just before sunset. Left, to depart from a place. Left, to go away from a location. 50. Fail. They did not fail to reach the top despite the challenges. Fail, to not succeed in achieving something. Fail, to be unsuccessful in achieving a goal or task. Story. In a historical park, a group of friends decided to explore the mount that overlooked the city. The height of the mount made them feel both lucky and fearful. The lucky weather was clear, but the climb was challenging. Mrs. Johnson, a former athlete and the hero of their group, was excited to lead the way. She had been a player in many sports and was now using her faith and natural ability to help others. As they met at the base of the mount, they noticed some flowers and admired their beauty. The factor of their lucky day was the perfect weather, which made the climb easier. They took a break and discussed their observations. One friend mentioned that the glove she wore helped protect her hands, while another explained how the network of trails was carefully planned by the park's manufacturer. Meanwhile, a laboratory nearby was working on new ways to grow plants that would be more resilient. The element of nature was essential to their experiments. The pain of the climb faded as they reached the summit and took in the view. They never felt so accomplished and proud of their efforts. In the end, their adventure was a fine example of combining faith and natural abilities to achieve something great. These were the words that we looked at. Abuse. Element. Explain. Factor. Fade. Fail. Fair. Faith. Fear. Fine. Flower. Force. Former. For. Friend. Glove. Grant. Grow. Guest. Height. Hero. High. Historical. Husband. Ignore. Immediately. Instead. Involved. It. Laboratory. Left. Liberal. Lucky. Manufacturer. Meet. Mistake. Mount. Mrs. Natural. Nearby. Network. Never. Nobody. Observation. Own. Pain. Pant. Partly. Player. Poetry.